Yo, dudes, the Empire's pretty chill. Maybe you could, join it or something.
Hey everyone, Lucamus Prime here. So, it's time for another franchise ranking today, and today, guys, I'm going to be ranking a trilogy in today's video, and this trilogy, guys, will be ranked from best to weakest, and this trilogy, guys, is none other than the Eastrail 177 trilogy. So this trilogy, guys, consists of 3 movies, being Unbreakable, Split, and Glass. So I'm going to be ranking all 3 movies, guys, and this will be from best to weakest because in my opinion, there's no terrible movie, just one which I think is the weakest of a franchise. So yeah, and all these films are directed by M. Night Shyamalan, guys. And I'm also going to clarify that these are all the films I've seen by him. And I've also as well heard that many of his films have had many negative reviews. But these ones I've heard of had good reviews about. And these ones are films that I do like, guys. And I think this trilogy is quite underrated. So yeah. Anyway, let's begin the ranking, shall we, of these films. So starting with what is my favourite of this franchise, guys. So in first place for me, guys, I'm definitely going to go, of course, with 2000's Unbreakable, the first movie. So, yeah, I really love this movie, guys, Unbreakable. I think it's a very underrated superhero movie, and it was done very well, and so far, guys, I consider it to be my favourite work of M. Night Shyamalan. So, yeah, because as you just heard, guys, this is the only works of his that I've seen. I've not seen other works of his, so, yeah, this so far is my favourite work of his, So what's great about this movie, guys, is I think it has a really great cast of actors in this. For example, you have Bruce Willis, who of course plays a character called David Dunn, who of course is someone who has the ability to be pretty much indestructible. So yeah, which is pretty cool, and with enhanced strength and durability, and he can also see the crimes people have committed if he touches them. So yeah. And David Dunn as well, I consider to be probably my second favourite role so far of Bruce Willis after John McClane from Die Hard as well, because I think he does a really amazing job playing David Dunn in this movie, and he gives such a really amazing performance in my opinion as well, and did such a wonderful job playing David Dunn and bringing the character to life. He did it so well in my opinion, wow. In addition, I also as well, of course, like the addition of the legendary Samuel L. Jackson, one of my favourite actors of all time, as the character called Elijah Price, who, of course, is the comic book theorist, and of course, a deranged terrorist who has brittle bone disease, which allows him to then go by the nickname of Mr. Glass, because he, of course, has this bone disease. So, yeah. And there's also other good cast members in Unbreakable as well, guys. For example, I like the addition of Robin Wright as David's wife, Audrey. And there's other great characters as well in this. Like, even Elijah's mother was very good. Mrs. Price, played by Charlene Woodard, as well. Even David's son, Joseph, was played very well by Spencer Treat Clark, as well, who believes David's a superhero. So, yeah. And everyone else was also very good as well in this, in my opinion. And this movie as well, I did also love this take on the whole, a very realistic take on the superhero genre, guys. And it was done really well, in my opinion, really, how they did the whole superhero thing. And it felt so real as well, the way they did it. It was done brilliantly, in my opinion. And the action, for what it's worth, is also great to watch as well. For example, I definitely as well think the opening train crash is definitely a very intense moment, guys. And yeah, I mean, the movie is definitely great for what it is. It's done so well, guys, and yeah, it was very well made, and the story is also brilliant as well, done so well. Where, of course, after David realises he was not injured at all in the train crash, he realises that he has superhuman abilities, and as he begins to grapple with the discovery, he comes to the attention of Elijah Price, who manipulates him in order to understand him. So, yeah, this, in my opinion, is a great movie, guys, and so if you're wondering what I would rank Unbreakable out of 10, guys, well, I'm going to rank Unbreakable a full-blown 10 out of 10, because I love this movie. I think it's very underrated and deserves more attention, because, yeah, it was done so well, and there was even a great soundtrack as well, guys, composed by James Newton Howard. He's a very good composer, in my opinion. This was definitely no exception, because he did a very good job composing the music. And this was definitely, in my opinion, the best work of M. Night Shyamalan I've seen so far. Because, yeah, I've not seen anything else by him. So, yeah. So, that's Unbreakable, guys. And now, on to what is my second favourite to his trilogy. So, my very close second favourite, guys, would have to be none other than, of course, 2016's Split. So, yeah. This is, of course, the second installment for Trilogy, guys, but it's regarded by fans as a stealth sequel to Unbreakable, and you can probably guess why if you've seen the movie, and as I'm going to be talking about it. So, I think this movie, guys, as well, in my opinion, is pretty awesome as well. So a good qualities about this movie. So one thing that's definitely a highlight of this movie is probably the acting, and I've also got to give tons of high praise to James McAvoy, who plays the main character of this movie, which is Kevin Wendell Crumb. Like, oh my god, right? He really blew me away with his performance in this movie, guys. Like, oh my god, he nailed it. Like, all of his scenes were so intense. They really were. And he played the role so brilliantly. And, like, wow. Like, I couldn't believe what I was watching because of how phenomenal he was. And I consider this to be my favourite role of him as well, because he did such a phenomenal job playing Kevin. And of course, what's also awesome is this character, guys, also has 23 personalities. So, yeah, I mean, because the poster says he has 23 personalities, and the 24th is about to be unleashed. So, yeah, like, wow. It even says here on the DVD cover, McAvoy is absolutely extraordinary, and they're not wrong there, because he absolutely nailed it. So, yeah. Like, this movie was just phenomenal, guys. Split, and like, yeah, I can just be his best role because he did the role so well, and many of his personalities were definitely great to watch as well. And many of I did love. I mean, I definitely loved Dennis. He was definitely a very scary version, because he's the personality of the kidnapped, the character of this movie, who are the girls who get kidnapped. One of them, of course, played by Anya Taylor-Joy. And yeah, she played Casey in this, and she played the role really well, in my opinion. And did a very good job in the role. And definitely, in my opinion, a way better role for her compared to her role I've seen her in, which is where she plays Magic in The New Mutants. Yeah, because I really did not like her in that movie. But yeah, this movie, in my opinion, she was far better. Way better, in my opinion, in this role. And yeah, the other classmates of Casey were also very well played too. For example, Claire, played by Haley Louis Richardson, and also Marcia, played by Jessica Sula. And I also, as well, liked Betty Buckley as Karen Fletcher, who is the psychologist who's attempting to help Kevin. And other examples of personalities that I did also love of Kevin, I definitely love, his personalities like Hedwig. And I definitely, as well, really love the Beast. Like, the Beast was, like, so scary. And wow. And played so well by James. Like, oh, wow, he nailed it. And he definitely did a really good job getting him the right shape for the role as well. Absolutely. Because the Beast is like, like almost like an animal, really, as well. Like, goodness me. Like a grotesque sociopath and insatiable cannibal with superhuman capabilities. Like, wow. And this movie was definitely very intense, guys, with many good scares as well. And the writing was done so well. Like, wow. And it was definitely a very great movie, guys, and definitely one of the best examples of a stealth sequel. Now, you're probably wondering, why is this a stealth sequel? Well, guys, the thing is, the ending has a pretty awesome and exciting twist where it connects to Unbreakable, because we see a diner and the customers are talking about someone being incarcerated with a mental illness, and they say they're reminded of someone else who got put in prison before. And they're wondering what the name is, and then we hear a voice saying, Mr. Glass. And then they turn around, and then they see David sat there. And he finds out about this new person being put into the hospital due to mental illness. So, yeah. A very exciting setup for the next movie as well, yeah. And so, guys, however, even though I do love Split, guys, there's a couple of reasons why it's my second favourite, not my favourite to a trilogy. So bad qualities is short. Some of the scenes some of the scenes can be a bit disturbing, of course, due to the whole kidnapping thing, which is understandable, I guess. Yeah, it's quite disturbing. And sure, If you guys have not seen Unbreakable, you may be a bit confused by the ending if you've not seen Unbreakable and you had no idea if this was a stealth sequel to Unbreakable. So that's understandable, guys. If you haven't seen Unbreakable, you probably won't have a clue what's happening in the last scene, would you really? But yeah, I can level Slyball, guys, and if I was to rank this movie out of 10, I would rank Split a solid 8 out of 10, yeah. Definitely an amazing sequel. And what I've heard from critics, I've heard this was apparently, you know, like a welcome back for M. Night, because apparently he'd made some negatively received movies in between Unbreakable and Split. So yeah, it's good that he was able to come back with this movie, yeah. And now, guys, on to my third favourite of this trilogy, and what is, in my opinion, the weakest, but not really a terrible movie per se. Or well, there is something that I really hated about this movie, guys, but yeah. But it's still, in my opinion, a good movie for what it's worth. So yeah, not terrible. And that would have to be, of course, 2019's Glass. So, yeah. Now, so, guys, this movie, in my opinion, is not terrible. And we'll get to a good qualities. So good qualities is, once again, the cast is, once again, really amazing in their roles. You know, like, James McAvoy returns as Kevin in this movie and his personalities. And he does an amazing job, once again. Phenomenal performance. My favourite role of him, most definitely. And, of course, Bruce Willis also came back as David as well. And in this movie, he's got a new name, which is the Overseer, because he's a vigilante now. And yeah, it was definitely very nice to see him come back. And of course, Mr. Glass also came back too, yeah. And Samuel Jackson returned as him. And yeah, both Bruce and Samuel have still got it, in my opinion, in their roles in this movie. Despite it being 19 years since Unbreakable, they still got it, in my opinion. And these two films wouldn't be the only time they've been in a movie together, because they've been in things like that I've seen, like Pulp Fiction and Die Hard with a Vengeance. So yeah, it's definitely cool to see them in this, definitely, back on the big screen together. So this movie, he definitely did the right thing by bringing back David and Elijah. Did the right thing, in my opinion. And it was also cool as well to see some characters also from Unbreakable Prize and roles. For example, Spencer, Tree Clark, and Charlene and Woodard also returned from Unbreakable as well, because Spencer came back as Joseph and Charlene came back as Mrs. Price. And of course, Anya Taylor-Joy also came back as Casey as well, which was definitely nice to see as well, as like a nice connection to Split, as well as featuring Kevin returning. And it was really cool to see either worlds of both Unbreakable and Split collide in this movie, really. It all comes together in this movie, really. And it was definitely executed pretty well, how they brought in the two universes like that. It was definitely pretty good, in my opinion. And the action's also good for what it's worth as well, guys. Done very well, in my opinion. And it's definitely good to watch. I mean, it's definitely really cool how David and the Beast have a fight. Yeah, I mean, because this is the Overseer, guys, a very strong character fighting against, you know, the Beast, the 24 personality of Kevin. So yeah, that's pretty exciting, isn't it? And the fight scenes are definitely really worth a watch as well. Oh, really. And the music composed by Wes Dillon Fordson is also very good as well, in my opinion. Although I do prefer James Newton Howard's music from Unbreakable, but I think Wes Dillon Fordson does a good job composing the music for Split and Glass. So yeah. Now, however, guys, so this is, however, in my opinion, the weakest of a trilogy. So I'm gonna get to why. But it's not, in my opinion, a terrible movie per se. But I think it's probably the weakest movie I've seen by M. Night so far out of the films I've seen, because I've only seen this trilogy by him so far. So I'm going to give a cat out to the bad guys and say that my biggest thing that I hate the most about this movie is definitely the damn ending. Oh my god. The ending of this movie was just a massive letdown. Oh my god. Yeah, the ending of this movie was just extremely disappointing, guys. And like, it ruined the whole point of bringing back David and Elijah, in my opinion. Like, because guess what happens, guys? So if you guys have seen the movie, you'll be aware that Kevin does mortally wound Elijah by, I think he, like, you know, crushes him or something, yeah. And due to Elijah having brittle bone disease, it pretty much mortally wounds him, so yeah. But David's death, in my opinion, was the most insulting that I've seen, because the way they sent him off was just absolutely pathetic, because a SWAT officer grabs David after his fight with Kevin, and then he drags him over to a flooded pothole, which is flooded with water from a water tank, and he drowns him in the water. Like, when I saw that, I couldn't believe they did that. They had to pull that off by drowning David. Like, are you kidding me? Like, David is supposed to be unbreakable, and he dies like that. I couldn't accept that. Like, that was just extremely disappointing and a massive letdown, really. And pretty much nearly killed the movie for me, really. Like, because apart from the ending, guys, the movie is good. That's what I'm going to say, really. Like, because if you guys watch this movie and don't watch the ending, you'll probably think it's a good movie. But yeah, because of the ending, I think it's disappointing. And like, yeah. Like, I can't believe, you know, they had to, you know, do that to David. Like, they bring him and Elijah back after 19 years only to do that to them. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, in my opinion, the only one of these three who had the most tolerable send-off was probably Kevin. And that was it, really. Like, these two have pathetic send-offs, in my opinion. And yeah, like, so yeah, the ending didn't work for me, guys. But yeah, like, apart from this ending, the movie, in my opinion, is still good, I guess. But the ending is really disappointing. So yeah. So yeah, I can't believe they had to do that like that. And it's also, as well, a big shame that this is one of Bruce Willis's last theatrical movies. Because, as you guys may be aware, he of course, recently retired from acting. So yeah, I wish him all the very best. But yeah, still, I can't believe this has to be one of his last theatrical movies. This is disappointing, really. But guys, if I was to rank this movie out of 10, so yeah, I don't think it's a terrible movie per se. If I was to rank it out of 10, guys, I would rank it probably a 6.5 out of 10. That's what I would rank Glass. So yeah, not terrible, all in my opinion, but disappointing, to be honest, because of the ending. The ending, in my opinion, ruined the movie for me, really, because it was extremely disappointing. But yeah. So guys, I am done ranking the trilogy of the Eastrail 177 trilogy by M. Night Shyamalan. So, and thankfully he's not done a fourth movie of his franchise, and thank God for that, because yeah, like, I don't think there's any point in doing a fourth movie, really, to be honest, at all. Because you know, when it comes to, you know, the ending, I think, you know, the damage has already been done. There's no point doing any more movies now, because the damage has already been done. So yeah, anyway, guys, so this is me doing my ranking of a trilogy. So number one best would be Unbreakable. Second place would be Split. And then last place in my trilogy ranking, because this, in my opinion, was disappointing but not terrible, Glass. So, you know, drill, guys, be sure to give this video a like. Also, be sure to comment what you guys think of the Unbreakable or Split and Glass movies in the Eastrail 177 trilogy. Tell me how you guys would rank them. We'll see you guys would rank them. Also, be sure to join Team Prime by pressing subscribe for more videos coming in the future. If you'd like to be a member, you can press join if you're using a PC or laptop, or you can click the link in the description, and I'll see you all later.